Hey everyone, mariuszgajdzik here, and this is the Sennheiser EWDP ME2 wireless system, which I believe is the new industry standard. Just a disclaimer, Sennheiser have sent it to me almost a year ago and I have been using it ever since. So I just wanted to let you know that they sent it to me, but I will still tell you my opinion about the product. Okay, and now we are going to test out the mic, which is mounted on the camera on the Sony FX3 with the top XLR handle with the XLR cable, and I have the transmitter over here in front in my front pocket, and the mic is mounted here on my chest with the wind muff because it is a little windy here. So we're gonna do a bit of a stress test here on the Blackheath in London, which is like an open field, which isn't ideal for the radio mics because the wavelengths of the radio are not able to bounce off any building or anything like that. So this is going to be like a stress test of this mic, and we'll see how far I can go before the mic is losing the signal. So let's do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 100. Can you hear me? I'm now 100 meters from the camera and you can hear me, so this still works apparently. And now you can hear how the mic sounds when it comes to recording it into the Zoom F3 with the XLR cable connected to Zoom F3 from the receiver, and it is recording in 32-bit float, so this is how it sounds when it comes to that. So this is Evolution Wireless digital system, whereas before we had the Evolution Wireless analog system like G4, which I've been using myself as well. And what we have here is 5 times the dynamic range of sound, which is 134 decibels. So in practice, that should let us avoid clipping the audio and actually getting higher quality recordings. And comparing to some other systems like the Rode Wireless Pro or the DJI Mic 2, this actually doesn't work on the 2.4 gigahertz network. It works on UHF radio, which is more reliable. It gives us much more frequencies to work with. You're gonna be able to scan for the free frequency that you're gonna be able to use. And when it comes to choosing right frequency, we have an auto scan option on the receiver. So we're gonna be able to just go into that, choose frequency automatically, and it's gonna give us the frequency which is free, and then we need to sync the receiver and transmitter to be able to use them on the same frequency. And if you work with the previous generation, the G4 or G3, you know that wasn't so easy to sync them together, whereas here we basically do it really easily with one button on receiver and the same button on the transmitter, the sync buttons, and they quickly sync between each other, and that's done thanks to the low energy Bluetooth connection between them when we press the sync buttons on both of them. And what's really cool here again is the fact that we no longer need to change the gain on the transmitter. We can do it on receiver. That's also thanks to that wide dynamic range that we can do that, and that's going to be super useful for when we're shooting video with audio, because we're not gonna have to waste time to go up to the Talon to change the settings. We can do it straight from the receiver that we're gonna have mounted on a camera. In the box we have the XLR to jack cable, which is super useful for me because I use it with the Sony FX3 with the XLR top handle, as well as the Zoom F3. So I'm happy I don't need to buy that cable, I have it in the box. We have a jack to jack cable, so that's good because we're gonna be able to connect the mic system to the regular camera jack input, mic jack input if we don't have the XLRs. We also get a really nice cheese plate mount, magnetic cheese plate mount. I really like that for mounting on top of my Sony FX3 because I can mount that cheese plate to my top handle on the Sony FX3 and then magnetically attach the receiver. And actually, if I want to use multiple receivers and multiple transmitters, we can add that on top of the existing one that we have on the camera, so we can stack them up and put one onto another if we need to record multiple people. Of course, we also get lots of different screws and mounts if we want to mount it straight to the camera without the hot shoe adapter, but I just use the hot shoe adapter, and I think that's a very good option for mounting it on top of the camera. There is also a belt clip for the receiver. So next we have the receiver. On the receiver we have two antennas. The antennas moving different directions, so that's nice because we can just point them in a way that is not gonna interrupt us when it comes to mounting it on the camera or in a sound bag. Here is that doors for the batteries where we can put that BA70 battery, which is gonna give us 7 hours of battery life on the receiver, but we can also power it with the AA batteries, so that's super useful if we run out of juice in that battery and we need to use it for longer. But another option of powering the thing is the fact that we can just plug in the USB-C to USB-C cable that we also get in the box, and we can power it with that and charge the battery with that, but also power it without the battery. So it's super nice that we have that option over here. On the bottom we have the magnetic mount over here and the 3/4 thread, so we can mount it straight onto our camera or anything else we want to mount it. And we can also attach that magnetic cheese plate to it over here. From the side, as I mentioned, we have the USB-C power input, we have the headphone out, and we have mic out. And we also have a really nice screen on the front, which is going to be able to show us the mic level, the battery life for the receiver and the transmitter, the signal, and any errors or anything like that if we have any. And also we're going to be able to use that screen and the buttons next to it for setting the gain, the output level, the headphone level, the mute switch, which we can override from the receiver for the transmitter, which is super nice. Again, if you get a talent going out and they switch on the mute and you want to record them, you again don't need to come up to them. You can just undo this mute button on the receiver, which is super nice. I find it really useful. We have the auto scan option as well, so if we go into that, we can scan for the frequency that is free and we can set it, and then if we want to sync it, we just press sync on the receiver and sync on the transmitter, and this is how we're gonna be syncing the transmitter and receiver. We can also set our own channel if we want to. If we go back into the menu, same as the frequency, and we can also set the brightness of the screen as well as reset the entire receiver. When it comes to the transmitter, it's actually quite simple. It has a really nice antenna here. It has a sync button, the mute switch, and the mic input over here on top. The power button is where the batteries are. We can use two AA batteries, which is going to give us 8 hours of battery life, or the BA70 battery, but we're gonna have to buy another one if we want to use the other one in the receiver, and that will give us 12-hour battery life, so really long battery life. And to the transmitter we can connect our ME2 lavalier mic, which we get in that bundle. We can just put it into the mic out jack, and actually it has a lock-in thread for that, so that's really nice because if we lock it, we're not going to be able to yank it out of there, which is super useful. We also have an app for it, which we are able to see the status of both receiver and transmitter because it connects to both of them with the low power Bluetooth, so we can then see the battery life, we can see the frequencies, etc. And we can go in and change the mute switch, for example, change the gain on the mic, change the output level, go into frequency and set the frequency manually, do an auto scan if we want to, and then it's gonna ask us to sync it as well. So we're gonna press sync on the transmitter as it's asking us, and then it's just doing that for us. We can just sync the transmitter to it, so that's going to be helpful for when we not want to touch the camera, for example. We go into advanced setting as well, and then we see the device information, super useful again, and we can do the update, and I can actually see that I have the update for the EK, so the receiver. So I'm just gonna update it right now, and so that's really useful to update the firmware like this. When it comes to the price, the Sennheiser EWDP ME2 costs about $699 to $599 or $619 to 519 pounds, Great British pounds. So it is a bit more expensive for what we would pay, for example, for DJI Mic 2 or the Rode Wireless Pro. But the Rode Wireless Pro and the DJI Mic 2 work on the 2.4 gigahertz and not the UHF, so this is something to keep in mind. In my opinion, the UHF is much more reliable, and I would choose the UHF system over the 2.4 gigahertz system every time when it comes to going to work for a client, going to a professional setting. I would say also for when I'm recording myself, I just feel like this is going to be more reliable than the 2.4 gigahertz setup, but I know that some people will still prefer to choose the 2.4 gigahertz setup when it comes to content creation, and the fact that you can record 2 transmitters to 1 receiver in 2.4 gigahertz, whereas you can't do it with this system when it comes to the UHF. But I would still recommend the UHF system like the Sennheiser EWDP to anybody who works professionally and needs reliability when it comes to the connection of the wireless mic system. So if you want to check it out, I'm gonna leave the Amazon affiliate links in the description of the video. If you buy anything from these links, obviously I'm getting some kickback from it, which I'm super grateful for, and you're not paying anything extra using those links. If you have any questions about this system, or if you want to let me know what system you're using, leave the comment below this video. And if you like this video, please leave it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel and hit the bell so you don't miss any of the future content similar to this one. This is everything for this video. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.